right? Yeah, we're going to start off by saying that the time of mourning is no longer. We're rising. So rise up, everyone. Give thanks. Oh. I just meant rise up in spirit, not so much in Yeah, so give thanks. Give thanks. Yeah, so okay, so so bear with me, because while I'm speaking, the microphone probably going to be all around, and I'm going to try and keep it right here. I don't really speak with this kind of microphone too often, so try my best, right? So, like Matthew has said, my father's from Barbados, my mother from Chile, but born in Toronto. Pretty sure that only happened so I could get free healthcare and a passport, right? So just know that, right? So now coming forward, doing these works and making sure that I can express them in a space where I feel more of a foundation and a roots. So born in Toronto, I guess Canada, foreign, just getting bombarded with a lot of different, I guess, perspectives on how to navigate, but none of my parents was from there. So had to kind of go forward to the home heritage foundations to really grasp something that I could carry home out there and use to sustain myself with creation. I'm 30 right now. I want to start off the talk maybe by just sharing a little bit about my journey, my story, and how it is that I got here today. I want to thank every one of all of Una, every step, every breath taken on the journey that got you here today. To just give yourself some thanks for just making it this far, because, we're here, right? Yeah, right? The title of this workshop and gathering, interactive installation, I call it interactive installation because I bring some of my works here and we'll do a little bit of a break in the middle, and then at the end, hopefully y'all can come forward and just interact with the works. Just kind of intuitively, through your intuition, express yourself, can hold stuff, can feel it, can see it, touch it, smell it, whatever feel comfortable to you. But yeah, just be able to interact with the works and give you a chance, a hands-on chance to just activate something new, whether it be a new thought or a new way to look at something, right? A little bit about my journey and how I've come here today was, once again, being in a space where I growing up in, there's a lot of culture around, but none of that culture really reflected where my parents was from. So I just, knowing that I have to tap into a source of creation that is gonna allow me to have a new way to look at things. And yeah, right? All right, energy, that's just energy right there. So that soon come up. See my stuff standing firm, right? All right, you good? All right, make sure I don't miss it. So yeah, a big part of this work really comes from even the term creative currency. I haven't often done these workshops with such a big group of people. I like to go around the room and kind of just ask ones what creative currency, just that word sound, like what it means or what it makes you think about. So if anyone want to put up their hand and kind of, I'm asking, what does creative currency mean to you? If anybody kind of want to just give an idea of what those two words mean to them, or I'm just going to pick someone out if nobody says something. So, all right, so, Lion, since we've been making eye contact for a while here, right? I'm sure they know your name, but just say a name and then just give me any kind of expression that comes to your mind when you think of creative currency.
My name is Zachary Richard. Creative currency is really hard.
Anything that comes to your mind.
Anything, trying to express yourself, trying to show what you're thinking inside and what's in your head and stuff like that.
That's exactly it. That's it right there. That's a big part of it right there. Real big part of it. Right? And now, I come in for a sistren. There's a lot of them right here, so who feels like I pointing at them? Because, all right, that was random. I closed my eyes, so if you want, maybe just say a name and anything that comes to your mind when you think of creative currency. Whichever one of feel. You. Yeah.
Good morning, my name is Tia Alpin, and I feel creative currency is expressing yourself in your own way. And trying to express your world of art and trying to do your own stuff.
Yo, that's it. That's really it. That's really it. A big part about this, wait, does anybody, now that you saw two people go, does anybody just want to step up and say what they think creative currency is? Okay, so you the first hand I see, and then I come into you next. Where you are?
My name is Ake, and I think creative currency is the gifts and your art that you express to the world, and just expressing it in your own way.
Yo, there it is, once again. Is there a sister in the room that want to give a word, son? Right?
My name is Trinity Chase.
Yes, Trinity Chase.
I think creative currency would be the ideas and gifts that we bring to the world so that we can express and show the world a different view to life or other things that we see.
Yo, that was so good. Good thanks, yo, that was still one. No, you're good now. All right. So, like I said, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how I get here and what I've been doing, and then from that, maybe I'll ask y'all some questions and kind of build some group situations where we can kind of see how our collective thought can bring us to the greatest outcome for the situations we have to deal with every day, right? So a big part of I being in a space that was very diverse, very multicultural, like Toronto. Toronto is in North America, but they got everybody in the world all in there like a nice big pot of sip. You know, everybody's in there bubbling. So you get a chance to really see a lot of different ways of life. But then the realist aspect of is you get life school in spaces like that because you get a chance to see maybe what another side of the world might be like. Not exactly, but an idea and a glimpse into that. So naturally, as a creative, we're all creatives. Everyone naturally has the ability to express themselves. When I use the word intuition, does everyone in the room have an idea of what the word intuition means? Intuition, you know those things that just happen naturally, or those things that you feel, so that's how you do, whether it be the way you do your hair, the way you put on clothes, the way you express yourself, all of those are intuitive expressions, right? Being in a space like North America growing up, and then seeing around the world that intuitive expression isn't always given value, and isn't always given a value that can be turned into something else. It's usually kind of, oh, that's just how the person is, or that's just a style, an aesthetic. But a big part about putting value to your intuitive expression is knowing that it comes from you and you yourself. That means 20 people could be all expressing themselves intuitively, and no matter how similar and how the same it is, everyone still have their own value in that expression, right? So a big part of me traveling and going to certain spaces, I realized that I presence alone had value if I was willing to trust and give it that value. Because, you know, in school situations, I was in a school situation where I felt that I didn't have the fullest options to express myself in a ways that was more geared to artistic expression and intuitive expression. Being in a class space where if I had an answer or if I had looking at something a certain way, I would want to express my knowledge about that like that. But then if a teacher or someone said that that wasn't necessarily the way to do it, I instantly may have devalued my idea or not given my idea or my natural expression the value that it may have deserved in that time, just because through the way our expressions are, I guess, set aside in school and stuff, it's really, if your expression is geared to the subjects and I guess the the context of what it is that you are learning, then it is given value. But often being in a setting where your intuitive expression is thinking outside of that box, maybe, or your expression is naturally a little bit more than what it is has set in that guidelines, often we weren't putting value to that. And a big part of I creation and I reaching a certain space in my life of sustainability came through putting value to my intuitive expression. Meaning, even if I want to be a painter or I want to be a craftsman and there's another person beside me, maybe 5, that all want to be painters or craftsmen, I know for a fact that my painting and my crafts will have value if I trust to express it from a space that is my own. And that space meant reclaiming the value of my intuitive expression. So feeling that if I had an expression that maybe wasn't one that I was influenced by or taught in a space, then that expression still had value. And that I couldn't just think that if I had an idea, but that idea wasn't present in school or in work or in, I guess, other spaces around me, that idea didn't have value. So really reestablishing that perspective in your mind that the expressions you have naturally and the way you look at the world around you naturally, that has value. Especially in the world we're in right now, your ideas, the way you see things, and the way you express something, all of that has value, and value that transcends the monetary. Because as we all know, the main currency, when you hear of currency, we're thinking of money. Money is the currency that we're shifting around and cycling around to trade, to gain access, supply and demand. But there's many other forms of currency, because if we think of the word current is an energetic current, like a circuit now. So if you think of a circuit, the circuit is a completion of a cycle. Same way a light turns on, or same way that electricity works, or energy is generated through a full circuit. And that full circuit comes from understanding of the fullness, meaning you can't leave certain things out. Anything you leave out will not complete the full circuit. So that's when I realized intuitive expression couldn't be left out, because that really completes the full circuit of how it is everything around us works. If we think about branding, if we think about materials and consumerism and marketing, all of that is art. All of that is an expression. All of that was someone choosing to place certain colors, certain shapes, certain words, and certain expressions in a space that can communicate. We all need to know that there's a lot of value in the way that we see things and the way that we're willing to express things. That's not always meaning go against what's been put for you, because I never felt that I didn't want to go to school or that school wasn't right or wasn't for me and things, but I also realized that the way I was learning in school, there was something that I wasn't fully receiving, and that was value for creative expression. So when I come forward now today, it's just to continue to share ways of how you can channel and tap into your creative expression in a way that's going to allow you to generate just, I guess, different currencies in your life. Currency could be financial. Currency could be a resource. Currency could be an asset that you use towards your life path and journey that can contribute to your ascension. So all of these different resources and currencies that are available to us are all really coming from a space of you putting value on your expression. Is everyone with me so far? Does everyone kind of flow with what I'm saying? Is there certain elements of what I'm speaking about that maybe somebody wants to say, tell me a little bit more of that, or I don't really get what you're saying? How's everyone flowing with me right now? Good? All right, that don't sound so strong, but is there anything that I could say that will give a better idea of how it is I'm expressing the fact of putting value on your expression? This is your chance, because if I pass this, we go into the next space, right? Okay, well watch. In this time, we're going to start with maybe 3 perspectives that will help you get a better idea of the aspects of creative currency, right? So one of the first ones that I want to talk about in creative currency is being able to connect with your customization. There has to be an identity that you have, something within your own world that you know you can put on anything, anywhere, and anytime, whether it be a little signature, whether it be that little heart that you like to draw, a little star shape, maybe you write your name a certain way, or there's a word that you like to express a certain way. All of these expressions become personalized because they're unique to you. So whether it is you have a certain color that you want to know that no matter what, at that point in the day, at any point in the day, you want to see that color on you. So naturally, that expression and that customization, you begin to apply that into life. And you start figuring out what is it that you have that you can apply to anything and that you can customize that will make it yours and that will naturally bring it value. And when I say value, meaning just because something is yours doesn't mean someone has to come and buy it. But someone could see something. So we think of a Nike shirt. If you see a Nike shirt, we know what Nike is. That's why when someone else sees a Nike shirt, they're like, yo, that's a vibe. If you create your own sign now, somebody might be walking and see that sign, and that sign might make them feel so good and unlock a feeling in them that allow them to say, whoa, like, I would love to wear a shirt that have a kind of collar like that or something like that. But that all came from your customization. So it's not that somebody came and purchased something from you, but they essentially purchased an idea, but without a monetary currency, but with a connection currency. So now someone dealing with you and they're saying, whoa, I just found a new way to look at something because of your own uniqueness. Everyone has their own uniqueness. These portals and these symbols that you may see in my work, I made that mine. And I made that something that I could share with anybody at any time, but at the same time it represents me. And I don't feel like that's something I would need to sell to somebody. I know that someone can gain from that just by seeing it. So this same pattern that you see in the back around the plate right there and around the works, you look at your skin pattern. Your skin pattern, if you look at your skin on your hand, it has these triangles. These triangles that's repeating itself over and over and over and over again. When I looked at that, I said, that's something that we all have. So I naturally I wanted to express that. So all of the works that may look like triangular expressions and all that, those are all my personal expression of a skin pattern, right? And that's something that I know would be relatable to everyone. And that's something I can put on anything, stamp it anytime, anywhere, and now I can give it a customization. And that itself has value, right? Everyone vibe with that? Customization? How you can take something in your own perspective and make it something that can help everybody and don't take nothing from you. In fact, it charges you up every day because the fact that you know you can give somebody a boost to life and not have to do anything other than express yourself naturally, that's a strength right there. I want to tap into, even in terms of wanting to start a business, or in terms of wanting to find ways to even monetize off your expression. Even when you think of artists and the art world, it's not really so much about making a painting or making some art and then putting a price and value of it. Because when you see that, when somebody make a painting and tell you it's this many $100, don't you maybe wonder, it's like, can't I do that painting too? Like, why would I, like, where's the value? How does the value become created in that? But the reality is the value becomes created is because that person has taken that time and energy in their life to express that. And time and energy is another form of currency. So it can be valued the same way as money, right? So when you think about your expression now and wanting to tap into a business perspective, into a consumer world, you think about in the times we're in right now, when it comes to your creative expression, does everyone know what a niche market means? Anyone heard the word niche market before? Yeah, niche market meaning a group of people that resonate with your style or aesthetic, and now the works or whatever it is that you're producing, you can make it more intentionally geared to that group of people because you can see that that group of people is already living and embodying what it is that you're doing. Opposed to you thinking, I'm trying to get all of these people right here to get something that I've created. But then I realized that this group right here is already doing the work that I'm creating and is already have their own aspects of what it is I'm trying to put out. So this group right here, it's not that they may not want it, It's just that this group is a lot more already focused. So naturally I can gear my creation towards them. And that's a niche market, is finding out amongst all the different, I guess, accessibilities to things that you have, finding out what is most relevant to what you want to do and not having to focus on the bigger picture sometimes. And that really, for ones that want to start something up for themselves, it will give you a better idea of how to go into the space and know exactly who it is that you're trying to reach, so you don't spend time trying to communicate a message to maybe a space that isn't really receptive to that, right? Right? So a big part of wanting to express these works and show the upcoming generations how it is that we can generate a new form of currency is because often and I'm not just saying in the school systems, but in society, in the places that we live in all around the world, we are dealing with, there's a part of ourselves that we know is tapped in to a sustainable feeling that comes from being able to express yourself freely. Often, the spaces that we know we have to get ourselves into to sustain regular realities of life don't always allow you to move so freely. So my position coming forward now is to try to give... You have a question?
What if you don't like the art that you express?
The art that you express as the artist, like if like you create something but you don't really like it too much, you can start over. No, but really, so that's a great question too, because as artists, we're putting out a lot of work, and it's us who become our own critic, and we ourselves are our biggest limitation and strength. So you have to understand that when you're expressing something and you channeling this work, and this transcends just the physical act of making art. Everyone see that, right? Like making art is a lot more than a pencil or paint or drawing. Making art is really your ideas and the way you're looking at things and the way that you express yourself every day in all aspects. That is art. So now when it comes to making physical, tangible art, before you think about do I like it or do I not like it, you might process why did I do this? And that's a big part about it, because I guess coming up in a time and space where it's really easy for us to be told what to learn. You know, you got to study this, this, and this, so you can get here, here, and here. But it's not often we know how do we learn that. Because if someone's like, here, this is the subject, learn it. Everybody here has to learn it the same way. There's probably a few of us that, we're all able and willing to learn it, but there's probably a few of us that may need to hear it differently, or may need to see it differently, or may need a chance to use our hands, or maybe need a chance to see and feel someone else doing it, and that will make it a lot easier for us to grasp it. But a big part of the creation is, how is it that I'm creating this work? And what does it mean for me to create this work? And that will allow you to put a better value on whether you like it or not, because you'll know the reason behind why you make it and what you're looking to generate from that. I also want to talk about what it means to... Has everyone heard the term intellectual property? Everyone have... I get a mic right now, does anyone want to maybe say what it is that they feel intellectual property is? There's no, that's not it, that's wrong. There's just anything that comes to your mind. It's the microphone right here. Who wants it? Yes, Lion. Young Lion, on the rise.
It's like your own creation that you have put your own spin on it, and how you see it as your own artwork.
Yeah. Intellectual property, right? Yeah. You hear one clap, yes. Right? Because nobody else wanted to come and talk, so he get a big clap. Here. Intellectual property. You coming again? You're just gonna be my assistant. I might just bring you up here with me. Just stay up here with me.
Dealing with creativity and able to apply it for copyright or
Okay, activating. Yeah. Big part. Big sound. Give thanks. Yeah. So Yeah, that whole intellectual property right there, exactly what the brother just said, having an idea and being able to protect it. A lot of our ideas, especially as youth, I tell you, as youth, we are the value and the power of everything that's happening. Because if we think of our parents and the people older than them, they making sure that they set up a space for honor. But the way y'all are going to be able to come forward and really do it is if you have an understanding of the value of your ideas. Because it's your ideas that are being implemented today in the structure, because it's y'all who are going to live in that structure right there. So that just goes to show you the value of your intellectual property, the ideas you have, and the way you look at things. When it comes to you sharing your perspective on something, know for a fact that that has a value that can generate and put you in a position to have access to, I guess, maybe resources that wouldn't have been so readily available because your idea didn't have the exact value behind it, or protection, right? Being able to share how it is you see something, or having an idea that you know is so valuable, but you feel that if I share this, can't someone right there go and use this idea or take this idea, right? So we're going to build on this experience right here. What's your name? D'Angelo. So we got Sandana and D'Angelo here, right? Two brilliant visionary creatives of their time. Both of them have a very strong idea and a new vision that they can implement in the school systems that might change the way that our classrooms are set up, the way the structures that the schools are set up, all of that. Those two ideas that they have some serious value. So now, when you think of sharing your ideas, before you share that, you have to put a value on it yourself. Because if you share an idea and don't give it no value, someone else will come and put the value on your idea. Right? There's a lot of people that have ideas, but don't have resources to execute those ideas. And for the same way, a lot of people have resources, but they don't have ideas to use their resources on. So that's when the biggest part of now bridging the gaps and creative currency comes from protecting and being very aware of what it is that you bring to the table. Everyone in this room, I'm so strongly convicted to say that everyone in this room has an idea that through refinement and through your own critical thought and intention behind it can improve and can contribute to the development of the island. But it is how exactly you're going to trust and value your idea and your vision that will dictate how far that vision goes. Because there's certain ones of you right now that have visions that the moment you give that vision value and believe that what you have to offer and the way you're contributing your outlook, the moment you give that the presence that it needs, you'll be able to carry it and you'll see the opportunities create itself for you. Because you can't have doubt. You can't have mistrust. You have to trust in the fact that you yourself have value in your ideas. So once you have trust, you can't have doubt. And if you don't have doubt, you can't have fear. And that's the way you're going to move forward. Because it's the fear of sharing our ideas. It's the fear of communicating what we think is right and being told that that's not right, or that doesn't have any value. Or you ever get a big, strong idea, you come and share it with someone, they're like, well, that ain't really going to work. But it's now you taking that word sound and being like, oh, well, if these 10 people don't think my idea is going to work, then my idea probably not going to work. I just going to put this little idea down here and just let it sleep. No, I can't do that though, because even if 500 people didn't think my idea worked, as long as I put a certain value on that idea and communicate it to the people that I trust and don't doubt and don't fear, then that idea and vision is going to rise and it's going to gain a lot more. It's going to gain not just value, but it's going to gain energetic intention. Right? So think about being in a space where even if both of you have similar ideas and have the same ideas, most times you would think that if I have an idea and you have an idea, that I probably gonna have to be on this side of the island and you're gonna have to be on that side of the island, because we can't both be doing the same thing right here, right? How does everyone feel about that? If two we have an idea, do you think we should do both of our ideas and vision, even if they're the same? Should we both do them here in the same space? Or should one be on one side and one be on the other side? How do y'all feel about that?
I don't think they should do either. Technically, they can actually just combine it together to see what works.
Alright then. So I guess I don't need to say the other part because she just answered it for you. But the reality of it is a big part of why certain things haven't reached the highest spaces is right there, is the fact that two people might have a vision and might try to separate, or even how Tyrese said, and Tyrese, what you said was not wrong because it provided a really great perspective of the other half that we are dealing with every day. Because the reality is, two people will come together and try to compete. And we're gonna come together and see, you know, mine's a little shinier than yours though. And oh, you have a little bit more than me, but you know, I know that where I get mine is this. So it's all of that. We spend a lot of time doing that, but ain't no ascension happening. But the moment I say, look, I got some shiny stuff, and you have a little bit about what you have, we about to build this whole space right here and see how now any other ones that have the same thing, we're gonna bring them in too. Because the more we all come together, did I turn this off? Aye. Okay. The more we come together and are able to establish a collective unity amongst vision and idea, once again, that's value. And once again, that creates currency. Because if we think about a tactic that was used to spread us out, that's called divide and conquer. Everyone is aware of that. They use it in chess, they use it in every... So we ourselves wouldn't want to do that amongst ourselves. My sister, glowing.
I think because our society is today that you are your point should split up, because if you do your part of art on one end and he is on the other side, then no one can see that you come each other.
Okay. I love that sound. I love that sound. You're saying that if we each do our crafts on a different side of the island, that way he can't say that I take his thing and I can't say he take my thing. I think, in my perspective, us being on the opposite side of the island, not so much because I feel that the ideas would want to be taken, but I feel that maybe if we both stay on this side of the island, there's people on the other side of the island that don't get to see we, because they have to come all the way down here. So when you saying to spread and have one on each island, there's a positive to that too, because now you're also spreading the works, right? So it's not always going to be about one's taking ideas, but they should be able to build off each other, and I should be able to say, if we both have the same idea, it's not about copying me. You give me some of your idea, I give you some of my idea, and now you take some of this up to that side of the island, and now you up on that side of the island, you have your idea and my idea. And on this side of the island, I have my idea and a space for your idea. So even though you might not be here, your idea still lives here, because we have that understanding that the idea is greater than us just being in our physical spaces. Because I may have an idea that can help this side of the island, but my liberty wants to be on that side of the island. Perfect example, I live in the West right now with my uncle, and I have access to connecting with like the youths at the people at UE and going in town and meeting certain ones, but I want to live on the east side of the island so I can go up in the bush and get calabash and do that kind of stuff, right? So it's realizing that your idea and the placement are going to be the deciding factors on how it is you share that space. I don't know what the time is like, but I want to share this one last element that I put together. Has anyone ever heard of the Tesla cars? The Tesla cars. Everyone knows the Tesla, right? Does everyone know the man who created the current behind the Tesla? Nikola Tesla. Has everyone heard that name? He's a German man. I don't know too much about him. But Nikola Tesla, he tapped into the awareness of the AC current. The AC current is natural energy, but a way to, I guess, get it and section it off and place it in more intentional spaces, right? So when you think about this current, it's a 369 formula, which is electrons, protons, and neutrons, positive and negative charge that creates an oscillating charge that creates a current of light. We're not going to get into that. That's a whole other workshop, right? But what I'm saying is that same 369 that generate electrical energy, in my journey, I put together a 369 that will help everyone generate life force energy. Has anyone heard that term before? Life force energy. Life force energy. You see, all of us just right now, our heart is beating. All of us are activated. If you smell something, if you hear something, if you see something, if you feel something, these are all sensory activations that come from our body being a full, active, vibrational life source. Okay? So when you feel the difference between walking barefoot on the grass and walking with shoes, that's a simple, everyone understands the difference between being rooted to the earth with your bare foot and then having the rubber grounding of the shoe. There's a difference there, right? So when you think about life force energy is what makes a tree grow out the ground. It what makes the currents of the ocean. It makes the sun and the moon. There's many different elements and life force elements that are in play every day. But it's until we become aware of these things that we really start actualizing them. So when I'm speaking about life force energy, I'm speaking about sustaining yourself naturally off the elements of the earth that's already here. I put together these 9 perspectives. If anyone has pen and paper too, this is the one part of the workshop where you're going to want to write these down. The first 3 perspectives for life force energy: reason, intention, and purpose. Let's write those down. Reason, intention, and purpose. Right? So now, these 9 perspectives, I personally, along my journey, have put the efforts that I can to apply these into my everyday interactions. So especially these 3 right here. In everyday, my communication with people, the way I interact with life, the way I interact with my everyday reality. Reason, intention, and purpose. So now, as a creative, navigating certain spaces, I try to make sure that I know the reason why I'm doing things. So beside reason, you want to make sure, or put, I need to know, or however you want to word it, but know the reason why it is you're doing the things that you're doing. The things that you decide to do every day, whatever they may be, what is the reason why I do the things that I do? Right? And everyone's going to have a different answer, because we're all different people, right? So that reason that you create for yourself, don't let not one thought come in your head that there's a reason that may not be right. Unless it's some negative stuff, of course, but I don't think anybody has any of that. But any reason that you have, just be able to give yourself an acknowledging reason for why it is you're doing the things that you do every day. That you like. The second one is intention. What is the intention behind the things that I do every day? Because even when you speak, you could say certain things. I could speak to you, I could tell everybody here that I am loving this experience. My intention may not be the same way, but the verbal expression said certain, so just know, what is the intention behind the way I communicate? What is the intention behind the way I communicate? So like I said, I'm giving you the pointers, and then I'm giving you a question that you'll be able to ask yourself, and then give yourself, the answer that you give to yourself is the answer that you will use to apply to your journey. So the third one, purpose. You yourself give purpose to the things that you do every day. Not only find your reason, not only figure out the intention, but now give it purpose. Give it a purpose that aligns with you. So the third one would be, what is the purpose I've given the things that I do every day? Can we go into the next three? Yeah? Everyone with me? All right. So ready? Here come the first one is awareness, creation, and preservation. Those three right there. Once again, awareness, creation, and preservation. Right? So just a quick sound about, so in this everyday experience, we're learning new things every day, finding out new ways to look at something every day. So you're becoming aware of things, many things, plenty of things. So now, when you become aware of something, you tend to create something from it. Oh, you have a question? Preservation. Yeah. This three, creation, awareness, creation, and preservation. Sorry about that. Awareness, creation, and preservation. So what I was saying is, once you become aware of something, the next part is to create from that awareness. So if I became aware of something, and even the word sound, the verbal expression is still a creation. Because if I become aware of an idea, and I come and I share it with the eye, that is still me sharing and me creating something that came from where I just became aware of. So I became aware of something new today, and now I'm going to create something or share something that allows me to continue to acknowledge what it is that I learned. But now preservation, the third part of that, is how will I preserve these things that I've become aware of and created? It's about now, that taps into giving something value, right? So I just wanted to kind of give those perspectives, and now we're going to go back to like the awareness, the question beside that, the creation, the question beside that, and the preservation. I was just giving you guys a briefing. So when it comes to awareness, the question that I would like y'all to ask yourself is, am I being aware of new parts of myself every day? Do you ask yourself if you're becoming aware of new things every day? If you feel that you're learning new things every day? Any way you want to word that question for yourself. Right? Yeah. So now the creation. Am I creating something every day? Remember that creation doesn't always have to be a design, like a drawing, or like creating something. Did I move something around in my room today? Did I fix up something in the garden today? Did I make a new plate of food? Did I blend a juice? These are all creations, because you're creating something from something that's around you. If I go and take some fruit and I blend it into a juice, I've created something. If I just became aware that ginger and turmeric can go together, I'm going to go get those, and now I'm going to create that drink from it. And now the fact that I've consumed that drink, I'm preserving what it is that drink has brought to me. So that's just a little way of how you would apply that, right? So the second question would be, am I creating something every day? The third part of that one was the preservation. Am I preserving the culture that I live, or that I embody, or that I am a part of? Am I preserving the culture that I am a part of? And the culture that I'm creating? Right? So that would be the I guess essentially 4, 5, and 6 out of the 3, 6, 9. When y'all are done that, we'll go into the last 3, and then we're going to go through it all again. Once you guys have the perspective and the question, then we'll kind of just go through it again and how they all come together, right? So the next 3, the last 3, one of the most important ones, I think, cultivation, holistic medicine, and sustainable living. Once again, cultivation, holistic medicine, and sustainable living. The first question I would put in beside cultivation would be, do I know that I can grow anything? Food, minerals, grains, plants, you can grow anything. You yourself, do I know that I can grow my own food? That could be the question right there, just so we don't have to make it so complicated. Do I know that I can grow my own food? What does it mean to grow my own food? That could be one of the questions you ask yourself in the cultivation perspective. The question for the next one, everybody good? The question for the next one for holistic medicine, a question you would ask there is, am I aware of an option other than pharmaceutical medicine? Am I aware of any natural medicine, natural remedies? Just ask yourself that question. Am I aware? Do I know about natural options or remedies? And the last question that you can put beside sustainable living would be, am I able to live off of the earth? Am I able to live off of the earth? So see, we got 9. We got 9 perspectives right there. 3, 6, 9. The first 3 essentially being your protons, the next 3 being your neutrons, and your next 3 being your electrons. That's a 3, 6, 9 combination that will naturally allow us to channel life force energy from the planet. The planet is the strongest conductor and conduit of life force energy. That is why we are all existing today in this human physical form. There's many elements on the planet that was here long before us and will most likely be here long after us. And those are the elements that we see every day that we mainly don't really talk about that much. The plants, the food, the sand, the soil, the water. I can go on, but you already know. So when we take it from the top right now, these 9 perspectives. First one being, actually look at this. This is how we're going to do it. Because everybody wrote them down, I'm just going to say 1, and I want y'all to say what it is. I'm going to say 2, I want to hear it. I want to hear you guys go through it with me. So what's the first one? Everybody just say, I want to hear everybody say it. Reason. What is that? Reason. Can't hear you. Reason. All right then. First one being reason. What's the next one? Intention. Intention. What's the third one? Purpose. Reason, intention, and purpose. What's number 4? Awareness. Becoming aware. Number 5. Creation. Channeling creation. Number 6. Preservation. Making sure that we preserve. Because if we create something and don't preserve it, once it's gone, they're going to say they didn't know that happened, or they didn't know that existed, or they didn't know that was here. So it's up to us to preserve. So what am I number at? 7. What's 7 at? Cultivation. Please, plant a seed. Wherever it is, anywhere it is, just so you can also feel how good it feels to know that your hand, put something in the earth, and got to watch life come out of it. Watching a plant grow, and then watching food and flowers bear, and being able to eat something and have shade from something that you put in the earth, I tell you, there is no better reciprocity that you will get from the earth than those actions right there. Because when we think about that, Mother Earth is doing a lot for us to live on it. We ain't really doing the most to let you know we're grateful for living on it, right? So what's number 8? Holistic medicine. Very, very, very key part of us surviving and thriving and overcoming is holistic medicine. Knowing that we have an option and a new way. And it's very ancient, so it's past, present, and the future knowledge of medicine that is on the planet that has not been tampered by mankind and has not been essentially influenced by mankind. Natural remedies and resources on the planet that will cure or aid you of any instance, dis-ease, any experience that you're having. And number 9, sustainable living. That should be something that is talked about every day, because us as humanity, we are here living, and all I realize is all we do is build and take. So now you as a creative are going to find new ways to be sustainable and to build and create instead of building and taking with the resources that are abundant around us. Everyone knows about country. Everyone knows about the countryside. Do you know that when you're walking in the country, that you're walking on food? Everyone know that. All the ground food, all the provisions, we're walking on that. Those plants that you see that you're stepping on, you pull that out and that's food. The same minerals that's in the sand, all of that are crystal. All of that is crystal. The limestone, the island itself has very mystical elements and very strong resources that if you get a chance to really explore the island's resources, you'll see how many natural benefits and amazing, empowering, beautiful, I guess, how would I say it, virtues that the island has to offer you through sustainable living. Through knowing that when you take a tree, you could actually take a part of that tree and take it and propagate it and grow it somewhere else. That you can plant certain plants and certain gardens that will feed themselves and will provide food for a whole community naturally, with us not having to do anything, maybe a little bit of watering. I forgot the microphone there, sorry about that. But you know what I'm saying? I get really passionate about those last 3 because I realize that those last 3 key elements, no matter how much we try to express about eating good food, living a certain way, doing certain things, it's very cliche to say that because I'm a Rastaman, of course I'm going to tell you that, right? Everyone know it. Everybody been saying that, but this is not really about Rastafari. It's actually about the ascension of humanity. It's not even a race. It's not about a gender. It's not about an age. It's about us as humans understanding the most conducive life experience that we could have, instead of just continuing to experience and perpetuate what it is we've been force-fed upon us. And it's you right here changing, that it's really and truly up to the way that you choose to express and communicate how you see this island that is going to change and make the island what it is. Because if y'all voices stay silent, the same experiences that you're having right now that you may not like or don't feel is the right experience you'll be having will continue to happen. And the reasons why we're having these kind of gatherings, these kind of links, is so we can build these perspectives and see how it is we can create this change that will go from a space of, I don't expect all of y'all to be in a government seat, although you all have the potential to, but I know that each and every person here has their own contribution to the island in a way that's creative, in a way that's going to amplify the way that the whole island ascends energetically. The times we're in right now, realize everything is energy. When I say energy, I'm not trying to take your mind to the farthest place to figure out what that means. I just mean when you realize when the sun is out, we know the sun is hot, we know the sun it burns, but we also know the sun is making things grow. When it's raining, we know we don't want to get caught in the rain, but we know the rain is making things grow. We just have to acknowledge the way that we are looking at our reality and how it is we perceive and express towards this is really going to create a new reality for us. I, as a young artist, have been navigating and have gotten to the spaces that I've got to through the way that I've looked at the world. I'm not much of a name dropper, so I didn't come and tell you guys the work that I do, the people I've worked with, and the things that I have done, because I don't think that that's that important, because I'm trying to focus on what I want to unlock that you guys can do. I can speak a little bit about the things that I've done. A really interesting movie, too. If everybody can write down this movie. It's a movie called See You Yesterday. You see it already, sister? Right? People see that movie already? So that's a Spike Lee film that came out last year, right? So now that y'all have seen my work and the hieroglyphical expressions, When you go and watch that movie, every main character in that film, I did the costume design for that film. So I customized all of the clothes that the people was wearing in that film, right? A lot of the work that I have done through my art and through my perspectives came from me coming to the front line and expressing something that wasn't being expressed. A big part of this creative currency is for you as creatives to create a new currency for yourselves that transcends monetary aspects. The things you're going to gain in this life are not always going to come just from a monetary exchange. A lot of the virtues you're going to gain in this life from your ideas and your expressions and creations are going to come in other ways that allow this life to reach the point that it needs to get to. And all of those things will really be governed by those perspectives that I shared with you. The reason, the intention, and the purpose. The moment you have your own understanding of how you want to apply that to your life, you will take control of your reality. And you yourself will be able to put the value that you know comes from your expression. Everybody resonate with that? Does that resonate? Yeah. Remember at the beginning when I asked about the creative currency? And I said, once I talk about it a little bit more, hopefully ones have grasped a new idea of what creative currency means. You know, when you think about social media right now, think about let's use Instagram. Let's use Instagram as an example. Every day, everybody want a little like, everybody want a little comment, everybody want a little repost, right? Do we acknowledge, especially in the Caribbean, because where I live in foreign, if I'm walking by, and I do it, but not many people do it, but when I see people, I look people in their eyes, and I hail them up. Yeah, greetings, more life. Yeah, strength, give thanks. I can hail people up, right? That's a currency. But the times we're in, we don't value that like that. Here, that's something you do every day naturally. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Where I'm from, you don't do that. If you do that to someone, okay, good morning. Person, weird. All right, that's cool. But then the reality is, like, I think about the currencies that we translated into the social media that we don't really translate into the reality anymore. Because when I'm moving in the street, so I see my brother here, yo, nice bag, brother, nice bag. If you don't think that that was a double tap and a comment, but in real life, then we got to realize how to put value onto those things. Because enough ones every day go see you, sister, nice crown. Love the way how your little plaits. I see my little locks come in there. So all those is natural little expressions, right? We might not put value on that expression, but it's the moment I look at my photo and I see 200 likes. I was like, yo, I get 200 little taps. Or I get 50 comments. But the reality is throughout my day, I made eye contact with 500 people. 600 people look at me and say, yeah, what's up? Yeah, cool. That's a like. Hey, how you feeling? You good? Yeah, shining. That's a comment. But we're not processing those things like that. We don't value that like that. But it's until it comes like this and I see 80 comments and 80 likes, that's when I'm really realizing, oh, this is my community. This is my family. But the reality is valuing the energetic expression and connection we have in real life. And that right there is showing you a new way to perceive and to look at the things that are happening every day. You know, when you leave school and you're going to look for a job, and when you see a job that you like, or you see a space that you will see yourself and want to engage in that space, it's very simple for you to go up to that space and be like, hey, my name is Shining Star, and I want to work for you. Or I can come forward and say, my name is Lionheart, and these are a few things that I like to do. How could I work with you? That's a very big difference, because in the spaces that we're moving through, as entrepreneurs, through business, through careers, a lot of things you realize in school is employee and employer. Do people know any other options other than employee or the employer? Is there another option? Manager. But essentially, those are still employees because there's something that they're working for. So even if you're the manager at Nike, you're still an employee. Even if you're the head CEO, you're still an employee because you're working under the name Nike. You're not working under, your name is Mike, but use the head owner of Nike. So you're still working for Nike, right? So when I think about that now, I think about how it is we need to transform the communication. And that's why all of this is about perspective and perception. It's how you perceive things that will allow you to have a different perspective on how to look at it. If you look at work as in I'm going to do labor for someone else, you can look at it like that. If you look at work and say I'm going to express myself with other people, then you can look at that. But you're also going to want to be in a space that reflects that, right? It's going to be kind of hard to you go in with that expectation and then the space don't really move like that. Right? But it's about you creating that space and opening up that dialogue that is going to create these new spaces. Because it's only silence that has created the structure that we're in right now. And if anybody's here and has a problem or doesn't necessarily feel that the way the system or structures are set up are the most optimum ways for us to do things, then the only way that that's going to change is our voice and our expression and us going forward and representing ourselves in a new way. So this creative currency now, when you going forward and you figuring out different ways to generate streams of revenue and income and such, you now have a perspective of knowing that money isn't the only currency that I'm using here. And your personality, your charisma, your expression, your love for yourself. Your love for yourself is one of the strongest aspects of actually generating what it is you need and want into your life. Because you can have all the talent, you can have all the money, all the resources, but if you don't have a love for not just self, but what it is you have chosen to be your reality, naturally we just can't ascend. We just can't reach a higher space. We will still be alive, we will still be existing every day, but energetically in a space where we want to stimulate our minds and our bodies and soul in a way that's going to actually make us feel that this life is living and not surviving, then it's about us coming forward with a new perspective on how to look at things and a new way to navigate these spaces. When you go into a space and you know for a fact that all you or what you've been told is this is how you have to conduct yourself in that space, if you're in this space now and you naturally feel a new expression in that space, don't suppress that. Please don't. Please don't. If you go into a space and you know that you are a part of something, is a part of a team or a part of a collective of some sort, but you still feel that you have an expression that maybe you don't see any space for, you have to create that space for that expression. And you have to create that dialogue, and you have to create a space where people could think that way. Because you as the youth, the only way someone older than you is going to see value or to see a space that is fitted for you to be in is if you can express to them how it is that you see that space. Because if you go to the people that are in play and say, tell them what they already know or what they already have set in place for you, then what you're doing is going and continuing to be a part of things that you may feel otherwise about. So when you're in these spaces and you yourself feel that I know that this is how this goes, but I would like to express myself in this way to see if I can generate something more, use my ideas, use the way that I express myself to maybe make this experience more, please do that. And trust that that itself has value. And trust itself that you expressing yourself from a space of intuition, like I said, that has great, great value. Because there's only one reason why they take African artwork and put it in museums. They take other work, other countries' artwork too, but we know what parts of the world they're going and getting and collecting the most prominent resources on the planet for. And what are all those things that they're creating? Those are all intuitive expressions that came from people that had to be preserved, and ideas, cultures, and traditions that had to be preserved. It's up to Una to do that right now, because the next 5 to 10 years, whatever it is that you're going to see as your reality is going to be what you decided to talk about and what you decided to speak about. Once again, it's the silence. If you're comfortable, you can just continue to be in the spaces that have been set up for us already, right? So, does this give you guys a better idea of how to put value onto your creation and the way that you think, and how to now let yourself know that the way you see things is actually right? or may have a way that's going to help you be in that space, even if you thought that you weren't allowed to think that way in those spaces? Does everyone kind of grasp a perspective that will allow, that they feel that they can apply into their life? Yeah? Let me hear something. Let me hear like I wasn't just up here talking because I want to hear my voice. Let me hear something. Is it yeah? Yeah. You say yeah? Yeah. It's